booties for black girl nerds.
Hi, Jamila. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. First and foremost, I'm just saying I'm a fan. I absolutely loved your performance on the Come Up, and I saw it at TIFF, and you brought me to tears.
Thank you. Thank
Your
you.
performance brought me to tears, and I just really absolutely loved it. I wanted to start off by saying that, first of all, I wanted to ask you, while preparing for this role, you emotionally struck many of us as viewers. As I stated, you brought me to tears personally. Um, how did you prepare playing the role as Bree? And while reading the script, did it emotionally strike you as it did many of us watching it?
Yes, well, I would say I read the book first and before I got the script. So the book immediately brought me to tears by the time I was finished with it. And it prepared me, I guess, to transform into Bree because as I was reading the book, I was reading it as Bree. And the best way that I prepared for the script was I actually did a little bit of method acting. So um, from the moment I got the role, Sanaa was like, "You are now Bree. You need to commit to being her so that by the time you get on set and the camera is on you, you're already on." So I took that advice and I started dressing like Bree. I started talking like Bree. I started rapping for all of my friends. And so by the time it came down to hopping on camera, her story felt like it was already mine. And yeah.
And tell me a little bit more about that. When you say method acting, you started talking like Bree, you started rapping, but were you involved in any circles and like in the hip hop scene? Did you go to different kinds of clubs? Did you hang out with any actual artists, or did you model yourself under specific rap artists when you were preparing for the role as Bree?
Yes. So I had already been kind of heavily involved in the music scene as like in my real life, I am a DJ. So there will always be shows that I would go to beforehand, but I also had playlists that I would listen to. I had a rap coach, Rhapsody, who is she's phenomenal and she inspired me so much to be able to play the role of Brie because Brie is so similar to her. And me and her actually, she actually hosted a rap battle for me before we began shooting, and I froze. So from that point on, I was like, okay, I got to start rapping for everybody. So my friends would come over. I would be like, y'all want to hear this rap that I wrote? I actually started writing different raps as Bree, and yeah, it was intense.
Would you say I've seen this, I've actually looked at like rap songs and videos on YouTube, and I've seen people in the comments, and they say don't look at the comments, but I look at the comments. And some people say that there's a difference between a rapper and a lyricist. Would you agree that that sentiment is true, that there is like a skill set where there is a difference between someone who actually just raps, but someone that is actually like a wordsmith behind creating these lyrics, and that they actually build a skill behind making sure that these words have meaning and depth, and that they not only rhyme, but there's metaphors behind it? What is your take on that?
100%. I think that every artist is different and every artist brings something unique. So somebody who may not be a wordsmith still may bring energy and cadence to a song that makes it phenomenal. Or a wordsmith may bring lyrics to a song that makes it phenomenal, but may not be able to choose a beat that can make it a hit. So I think that every artist brings something different to the table, but I would definitely say there is a difference between a rapper and a lyricist, 100%, because a lyricist's main focus is the words, while a rapper's main focus may be, again, the energy they bring, the cadence that they have, the melody of their voice. Like I would compare it, like I guess the Migos are a lot different than Jay-Z. And
Right.
that's what I would say, a rapper versus a lyricist. And one is not above the other, but it's just two completely different styles of hip hop.
So what would you describe Brie as? Would she be a lyricist or a rapper?
She's both. She's both. I think that in the ring, she is a rap. She's a lyricist. I'm sorry. She has puns.
Yeah.
She has bars, and every line means something. But when she gets in the studio, she is a rapper with a little bit of lyricist, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
It's more emotional. Her tone sticks out when she's in the booth. You know what I'm saying? When you listen to one of her songs, the first thing you hear is her tone and her cadence. So I would say she's a bit of both.
How much interaction did you have with Angie Thomas, who's the author behind this story? I mean, this is obviously based off of source material that was already created. So, did you have any conversations with her during the filming of this movie?
So she was there the entire time, but I would say she was pretty hands off as far as the direction um that she wanted Bree to go in, and she was
Mhm.
very trusting of everybody to do their role. And I know the script and the film is a lot different from the book, but she was kind of there to still make sure that it was her vision, it aligned with her vision, and to just let us do us. And I would say that, yeah, she kind of just let us do us. And I'm happy that she was happy with the outcome as well.
Yeah, yeah, I know she's really got to be proud of this film. I read in an interview that you said that in order to get Brie right, that you have to do your research, which obviously you've described that with the method acting and everything. But aside from the method acting, what additional kind of research did you have to dive into to really get into this character?
Well, I went on YouTube and I looked up I one there was this one girl that I watched specifically. I can't think of her name at the time. I mean right now,
Mm,
but she had a parent that was addicted or a former drug addict. So I watched like all of her vlogs because in my waking life I couldn't relate to that because I nobody in my immediate family is addicted to any type of drug. So I watched all of her vlogs and they were really emotional, and I took all of that in. I soaked it up because I was like, wow, this is what it must feel like to have a parent who is addicted. Even if they're sober now, there's always that lingering fear of maybe they'll go back. I don't trust them, so I have to be the one to provide for the family. And that was I made that my main goal as Bree is as the character is to be the provider of the family. Even though I did have this older brother, even though I did have a mom who was now sober, I took on the role because me not being able to trust my mom in turn made me not be able to trust anybody else in my life. And so yeah, that's how I lived in Bree a little bit more.
yeah. Now that the film has been released, we're anticipating a home entertainment release for wider audiences. And since the premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, promoting the film, what have you been the most proud of during this journey of talking about On the Come Up?
I would say my growth as an actor because I know that now, like even looking back on the film, I'm like, wow, this is where I was. And look at where I am now, you know, based off of what I learned on that set, because that was my first film of that magnitude. And now in my own life, I don't know, I just see so much growth in the way that I would run a set now. Um, and also my acting. And because I am an aspiring filmmaker as well, like eventually I do want to create content of my own. Looking at the way that Sanaa operated on that set taught me a lot. And even having her as a mentor and the relationships that I got out of doing this film. All of that is what I'm really happy about and excited about.
Well, you certainly should be excited and happy. It was a powerful feature debut. Like I said, you brought me to tears. And I look forward to more audiences getting an opportunity to see it. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk to Black Girl Nerds. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Happy belated
Same to you.
holidays.
Yeah, same to you as well. You take care.
Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.